The year is 2061, and Earth faces a great danger. The sun is rapidly degenerating and expanding at a rate that will engulf Earth in 100 years. Within 300 years, the solar system will be destroyed. For once, nations of the world stop acting selfishly and join hands under the United Earth government to tackle the situation. After a long discussion, they decide to propel Earth out of the solar system to find another star located 4.2 light-years away. They name the project the Wandering Earth. The whole planet provides resources for the project, building 10,000 engines on Earth's surface to propel the planet out of the solar system. A navigation platform in the International Space Station leads Earth on its journey. Until the journey is complete, the human population lives in underground cities built directly under these engines. After 17 years of travel, Earth nears Jupiter, where it plans to use Jupiter's massive gravitational force as a slingshot to boost its propulsion. But this journey has already claimed many lives, leaving only those safely living in the underground cities. A young man named Liu Qi hears news that a group of astronauts, including his father, Liu Peiqiang, is returning to Earth from the International Space Station after completing their task of guiding Earth to Jupiter. Liu Qi is a mechanic trainee learning from his grandfather, Han Xiang, who is a senior driver. Liu Qi heads to a local school where his foster sister, Han Duo, is located and sneaks her out by faking a fire alarm. Next, he takes her to a local smuggler to obtain a thermal suit and a fake identity, as he wants to visit the surface, which is completely frozen. After passing through security, they are transported to the surface, which is nothing like they imagined. Then they sneak into Han Xiang's transport vehicle, and Liu Qi drives for the first time, nearly crashing into another transporter. But soon they are caught by a nearby cop and thrown into jail, where they meet Tim. Han Xiang learns about the incident and heads to the prison. He tries to bribe the guard, explaining that Liu Qi only wanted to experience the outside world because he is a trainee, but the guard throws him into the cell as well. Meanwhile, Liu Peiqiang is preparing for his discharge as today is his last day in space. Earth aligns with Jupiter, and they wait for Jupiter's gravity to give the necessary propulsion. But soon, Earth gets dangerously close to Jupiter and begins to be dragged toward it, with a collision expected in 37 hours. Many of the engines on Earth start failing as massive earthquakes destroy towns. Later, Han Xiang breaks his grandchildren and Tim out of prison and drives them to safety, barely escaping danger. Next, the navigation platform warns everyone on board to get into their hibernation pods as it prepares to go into low-energy mode. Liu Peiqiang calls Han Xiang and tells him to head to a refuge center. Then he prepares for hibernation, but soon Han Xiang's transporter is stopped by a rescue team who assign them an emergency mission. They ask them to transport a precious cargo called the lighter core, which is used to ignite the engines and restart them. Knowing the weight of the mission, Han Xiang agrees, and they begin their journey to deliver the lighter core to the engines. Soon they reach Shanghai, where they must pass through a deadly frozen passage that can collapse at any moment. As Liu Peiqiang is about to hibernate, he learns about the dangerous mission Han Xiang has taken and calls the leader of the rescue team, Wang Lei, to demand his family be returned to safety. Wang Lei explains that this is a critical mission and that Han Xiang's expertise is needed. But Liu Qi volunteers to stay on the mission, firmly telling his father that he will do whatever he wants. It turns out that when people chose who would live in the underground cities, Liu Peiqiang chose Han Xiang over Liu Qi's mother, who was very ill. Liu Qi hasn't forgiven him ever since. Then Jupiter's gravitational field spikes again, causing another earthquake to hit Earth. The transporter is struck by falling snow blocks, and one of the trucks is crushed. Liu Peiqiang tries to contact the government on Earth, but his ship releases hibernation gas in his pod, cutting him off. The people inside the transporter get out as the road becomes blocked. Wang Lei ensures the lighter core is safe and fires a flare. Liu Qi inflates a protective balloon sphere and sits inside it with his family, while Wang Lei plans how to get the lighter core to the engine. They decide to climb one of the tallest buildings and exit on the other side. Using the elevator shaft, they begin climbing while dragging the lighter core along. Meanwhile, soldiers who reach the top fire their machine guns to break the ice and open a window. But soon the building starts to crumble, and the rope they are using begins to snap. They manage to get the lighter core to safety, but Han Xiang and another man fall into the shaft. Liu Qi tries to save them, but Wang Lei cuts the cable, sensing the falling elevator. The man saves Han Xiang from being crushed by the elevator. However, this effort is in vain because Han Xiang's oxygen supply is punctured. As it reaches zero, he removes his helmet and freezes to death. The team takes the lighter core out through the hole, and Wang Lei pulls a grieving Liu Qi out before the building collapses. Liu Qi, overcome with anger, tries to fight Wang Lei but is no match for him. Frustrated, Liu Qi and Han Duo decide to abandon the mission, feeling they are no longer needed, and Tim joins them. Meanwhile, Liu Peiqiang manages to escape his hibernation pod, and the ship wakes Lieutenant Colonel Makarov and Lieutenant Colonel Hamdan to warn them about the situation. Liu Peiqiang discovers that the ship has changed course, and all communication with Earth has been cut off. This means Earth will wander in space without its navigation platform. Liu Peiqiang shows Makarov that the platform is not in low-energy mode, but instead moving away from Earth at full speed. Convincing Makarov to help, they both suit up and head to the central module to stop the ship. Next, they step outside the ship and see that Earth is dangerously close to Jupiter, which is consuming Earth's atmosphere. Meanwhile, Liu Qi, Han Duo, and Tim follow an SOS signal coming from another transporter located inside a crashed rescue aircraft. Inside, they find an engineer named Li Yi, who explains that their aircraft crashed because Earth's atmosphere is thinning. Liu Qi decides to use the transporter to go home, but they receive a distress signal from Wang Lei saying they need help. The underground city beneath one of the engines is in great danger as magma is pouring into it, trapping over 350,000 people. The only way to save them is by delivering the lighter core to restart the engine. Liu Qi decides to help and heads toward Wang Lei's team. Next, Wang Lei's team reaches the engine, but is shocked to find that both the engine and the underground city have been destroyed. Suddenly, one of the team collapses and dies. Despite this, Wang Lei insists they must continue their mission and deliver the core to another engine. This angers a soldier named Zhou Qian, who shoots the lighter core, declaring the mission over and saying they should head home. Wang Lei is furious but cannot stop her. Later, Liu Qi arrives with his transporter and rescues the team. He reveals that they have another lighter core on board and suggests they deliver it to another engine. Meanwhile, Liu Peiqiang and Makarov try to board the central module, but the ship's AI, Moss, detects their approach. The AI moves the module, causing Makarov to be killed, but Liu Peiqiang successfully lands on the central module. He opens the airlock and enters, attempting to manually override the system, only to discover it is impossible. Moss then informs him that the ship hasn't gone off course. Instead, it is following a contingency plan approved by the UEG in case something catastrophic happens to Earth. Next, reports come in that many engines have successfully restarted, with 90% now operational. However, the only engine left to restart is the one Liu Qi's group is working on. The team finally reaches their destination and restarts the engine. Watching Jupiter loom in the sky, the group celebrates, but their joy is short-lived as they realize Earth is still heading straight toward Jupiter and a collision is imminent. Then Moss explains that Earth will disintegrate and fall into Jupiter in just 3 hours. Soon after, a new project called the Helios Project is announced from the navigation platform. A broadcast is sent across Earth, declaring that the planet cannot be saved as it has missed its last chance of escape. However, humanity's survival will continue on the navigation platform, which carries 300,000 human embryos, 100 million seeds of basic crops, and DNA maps of all known animals. Additionally, all human knowledge is stored in a digital library to revive humanity on a new host planet. Earth, however, is predicted to collapse entirely into Jupiter within 7 days. Chaos spreads across the remaining underground cities, and Liu Peiqiang asks Moss to contact Liu Qi, but Liu Qi's location is unknown. Next, Liu Qi remembers a crucial fact his dad once told him about Jupiter. Its atmosphere is 90% hydrogen, which when mixed with Earth's oxygen-rich atmosphere, becomes highly combustible. Excited, Li Yi calculates the numbers and realizes that with enough oxygen transferred into Jupiter's atmosphere, a single ignition could create a massive explosion. The resulting shock wave would push Earth away from Jupiter, providing the propulsion needed to escape its gravity. The group identifies an engine close to Jupiter's surface that can be used to ignite the gas and sets off toward it. On the way, Li Yi assigns tasks to the team. Han Duo and Zhou Qian are tasked with requesting reinforcements. Liu Qi and Tim must transport the lighter core to the reaction chamber. Wang Lei and his men focus on manually unlocking the engine, and Li Yi works to control the system and concentrate all the energy into a single nozzle. Once they arrive at the engine, the team splits up to complete their assigned tasks. Everyone works tirelessly to ensure the plan's success. Han Duo desperately tries to bring reinforcements, but no one agrees to help after hearing the earlier broadcast that Earth is doomed. Meanwhile, the rest of the team encounters numerous challenges but pushes forward. Finally, the necessary preparations to create the ignition are completed. However, Wang Lei and his men face a critical issue. They cannot manually push the locking pin, the key step needed to execute the plan. Han Duoduo calls Liu Peiqiang and asks him to help deliver a message to the UEG. Desperate to learn that his family is alive, Liu Peiqiang asks Moss for assistance in relaying the message. However, Moss informs him that this plan has been proposed before, but was halted due to its 100% failure rate. Ignoring Moss, Liu Peiqiang sends the message to the UEG, but they refuse to help, stating that people should spend their remaining moments with their loved ones as their demise is inevitable and the plan will not work. Liu Peiqiang pleads with them not to lose hope, and the UEG offers a compromise. They will relay the message but will not issue an official order, allowing people to decide for themselves. Next, Han Duoduo is allowed to address the entire world. She delivers an emotional message, inspiring people to help. Her heartfelt words move everyone, and those nearby rush to the engine to assist Wang Lei and his team in pushing the locking pin. Reinforcements arrive, and together they manage to push the pin into place, activating the engine. However, despite their efforts, the flames fail to reach the explosive range needed to ignite Jupiter's gas. Liu Peiqiang learns of this and realizes the navigation platform's fuel could be used to amplify the flames. He asks the UEG for permission to use the fuel by plunging it into the plasma beam. They refuse, arguing that he represents humanity's last hope if the plan fails. Moss also cuts off Liu Peiqiang's communication with the UEG. In defiance, Liu Peiqiang uses Makarov's vodka to ignite Moss's operating system, disabling it. With communication restored, the UEG finally agrees to let Liu Peiqiang try, saying they have chosen hope. Liu Peiqiang detaches all the hibernating passengers and prepares to crash the navigation platform into the plasma beam of the engine. On his way, he calls Liu Qi to apologize, telling him that if Liu Qi wants to see him, he will always be in the sky. Liu Qi breaks down in tears as Liu Peiqiang sacrifices himself, colliding the platform into the plasma beam and triggering an explosion. This ignites Jupiter, creating the shockwave needed to push Earth away from its gravitational pull. They now have only 7 minutes before the shockwave reaches Earth, forcing everyone to rush to safety in the underground city. The engine restarts, and the team heads toward the underground city. Liu Qi finds Han Duoduo trapped under rubble and rescues her, but Wang Lei tragically dies. Li Yiyi instructs them to take cover under the engine, which can protect them from the shockwave. Soon, the shockwave hits Earth, sending everything flying. Liu Qi manages to grab Han Duoduo and pulls her into one of the protective bubbles. However, their transporter falls, tearing the bubble, and the impact breaks Liu Qi's helmet. But all the engines successfully restart, and the shockwave propels Earth out of Jupiter's gravity. Earth survives. 3 years later, Liu Qi, Han Duoduo, and Li Yiyi are assigned roles as transporters. Liu Qi becomes a respected driver. The engines work flawlessly as Earth continues its journey into a new solar system, and this movie ends here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out these awesome movie recap videos. Subscribe the Explanation Pro for our upcoming videos.